drives cars, he stares and cares. From driving to La La Land, holds our hearts in his hand. And every road leaves his mark. Ryan Gosling lights up the dark.
Hello and welcome to Good Boys Gone Bland, Season 10, Episode 5, The Nice Guys. I'm your co-host Denali.
I'm your nice guy, Ryan.
It's me, Blaze Ryder.
Ooh.
That's very cool. Should we go in a circle and give ourselves let's maybe not. Maybe let's not do that. Let's not. We have a guest today.
Hi everyone. I'm Ollie. Nice to be on the show. It's an honor.
Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah,
because
of course.
I think by request, I heard that if we did a Ryan Gosling season, we had to watch The Nice Guys.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
the deal was you would come on and do an episode.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's my huge recommendation for Ryan Gosling. Is definitely Nice Guys. I love that guy.
Yeah,
In
and
that
the
movie.
check cleared, so you can come on the show now, Ollie. So thank you so much for joining us and for your patronage.
Of course.
So I mean, like it's since you're new on the show, you're a new guest. I figured it might be good to kind of break the ice a little bit, Ollie. Just find ways. Icebreakers are a great way for people with no pressure to kind of just become and feel part of the group.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of improv before? We've never done an improv with a random.
Dude, no, stop.
No idea. No idea what you're talking about.
No, we're not doing improv. We're not doing improv.
What?
I'm not gonna make him do improv.
Oh,
all right.
that'd be so good.
I can improv. We can improv.
No, we're not gonna do. I'm not gonna make. Second time we'll do improv if you really want it.
Got it.
Yes, I mean, Ollie, how does it feel to be on possibly the most underrated visionary podcast on the air right now?
I mean, I've been listening to this podcast for a while now. It's like, it's like meeting my heroes, kind of. You know what I mean?
Good.
Like,
Yeah.
I hope you guys live up to the standards that I've placed inside my head. And
damn
if
it,
you
he
don't, I'm
reversed it.
never gonna listen again. Yeah, that's kind of how it's gonna work. So.
So if you had, and this is like totally no pressure, but like, who would be if you could rank the hosts?
Oh,
like in order of like who you like the most.
Dang, that is tough. I mean,
Okay, let's scrap
Ryan,
it.
he
Let's
fucking
scrap
does
it.
this every time, doesn't he?
Yeah,
grab it.
Denali doesn't tell us what he
like-
has in store for
Yeah.
his bits. And so
I asked
we never remember to say, please don't put the guest on the spot.
Is it like ranking in terms of like on the podcast or like in real life? Like,
I think how much you like them. I think just in real life and on the podcast.
Okay.
Love you on the
so
show, but I fucking hate you. I can tell that already.
would never hang out with
No,
you.
Ollie, don't
ever,
answer that.
like,
Don't
in
answer
real
that.
life.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm trying to make you uncomfortable.
Don't wanna hurt any
It's
feelings.
cruel. It's fucking cruel. I'm a cruel person. But like, you said you listened to a few episodes. That's totally cool. We go through different seasons of kind of like different actors, different subjects. Is there like a season you might want us to do, or even might want to join us on at some point?
Ooh.
Like, I know it's kind of like on the spot again.
I'm thinking.
But I always like to ask people just kind of like, what would be a fun maybe marathon?
Ooh,
like
that gives me a hint though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking you have to watch movies that are like 3 hours or longer. Like
Oh my
Lawrence of
God,
Arabia.
No,
that would
you know-
kill us. We could do it. We should do it.
Extended,
I'm
like, all
a
of the
90-minute
extended
man.
I mean, 90 minutes is like pretty good, but what about 260 minutes? Like,
Yes,
what about like a 4-hour saga? What about an intermission? You know what I mean?
We have jokingly suggested this, and I think this is a fucking hilarious idea, because doing a marathon of movies that are 3 or 4 hours long, like just epics, I think would literally kill us.
It'd be great. You can
Like,
make the
me and
episodes
Jace
longer.
would be skeletons on the couch.
It just takes it from like a 90. When we think about the weekends when we're gonna do a podcast, you have to imagine that we're gonna be bullshitting for 2.5 hours, which is fun, but it is 2.5 hours. So a 90-minute movie is a perfect amount of time to be like, I can't do anything but watch the movie for 90 minutes. 4 hours plus recording is a recipe for dissolution.
If we wanted to like engineer a rage quit season, we could do
That would be great. That sounds, I mean, like, rage quit for you and the audience as well. Because
Yeah.
you could make the episodes also 3 or 4
The
hours
viewership
long
would
as
just
well.
decline.
It'd be amazing.
How long's The Passion of the Christ?
The Passion of the Christ, I think that's 3 hours. What's there's the Irishman, which is a solid 4, and I think
Isn't the new Napoleon movie like really long as well?
I think Ridley Scott gets off on making the like 8-hour cuts, because he always puts out a 3-hour cut.
Jesus, the
and
Zack
then he's
Snyder
like, I'm
cut.
gonna
Oh, the Zack
Oh,
Snyder's. Yeah,
no, we could have Joe
like 3
back.
hours.
We could have Joe back. I was thinking about doing a Snyder cut of the Justice League, but we watch it 10 times in one season, and we kind of see what we get out of it each time.
That would be exceedingly bland, so I think you should do it.
Okay, we'll put that on the list, Ollie. We'll put it on the spinner wheel. We'll call it just the long season.
Okay.
So we're in the midst of, like we said, a Ryan Gosling season. We're 5 episodes in. I'm assuming you're kind of familiar with this dude. Like, have you kind of seen Ryan Gosling movies?
I was thinking about it last night. I was like, what have I seen him in? Like, I feel like I haven't seen him back. Like, I didn't see The Notebook. I didn't see any of his, like, more, dreamboat type movies. The first movie I think I saw him in that I remember was Drive in college.
Oh, nice.
And he was intense in that one. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, I haven't seen the new Blade Runner movie, even though I really like, how do you say his name? Denis Villeneuve? That guy. I love him, but I haven't seen that movie because I think I started it one time, and I think my wife saw how long it was, and she was like, "We're gonna watch a different movie," and I was like, "Oh, damn."
Yeah,
that's kind of ironic.
So,
what did you
and
just suggest to us?
Right. No, this is I'm trying to live vicariously through you guys. That's why
I can't watch
you to
these,
watch the long movies.
That would be fucking terrible.
People have told us that we watch movies so that they don't have to, so that we can kind of just summarize it. But our episodes are not that much shorter than a regular movie anyways, so I don't really know what they're doing there. So
that is true.
Do you have like kind of a vibe for Ryan Gosling? Because like we're kind of like trying to create a meter, right? And we're trying to think about what he brings to movies. Like, what is like your stereotypical maybe Ryan Gosling like role or like the vibe he brings, you think? Because like you think about Drive, right? He's bringing a vibe.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, that's the thing with the Nice Guys is, like, again, first thing I really remember seeing him in was Drive, and he has such a specific vibe there, which is like very weird, intense dude who's like kind of attractive. And then in the Nice Guys, he's a completely different person. You know what I mean? Like, so I honestly can't ascribe a vibe to him overall, but like I'd say he just seems like a chill dude. You know, I'd hang out with him.
He seems cool.
Yeah,
I want to
he
hang
just
out
seems
with
like a
Ryan
cool
Gosling.
guy. I want to be Ryan Gosling sometimes. You know.
Amber and I were talking about this last night. Ryan Gosling seems kind of implaceable. I think he's a weird fucking guy, honestly. Like, I think he probably inhabits these strange roles where he doesn't like fit in. I think he's usually a misfit. So I mean, that's interesting to hear, and I hope we can get more out of the Nice Guys as we kind of discuss this. But I do have an actual icebreaker here, okay? Not just the torturous things I put you through, Ollie, but we actually have a real icebreaker here. And I was reading I'm kind of now back into like corporate office world again, and I was kind of reading what's a good way to promote synergy amongst coworkers.
Love synergy.
And,
Big fan.
This is a thing called Would You Rather, and it's kind of where we go through questions.
No, don't. You can't go to that same website.
I brought up this website called the Would You Rather generator. It's made in like 1990.
Where it was like really fucked up. And
they were really messed up.
We got to do like 12 in a row before we get one that's airable.
So I got a couple other generators here too, so we can roll through these. And I figured it might be a fun way to synergize and talk about what we would rather do.
Yeah, I love that. This sounds
you
exactly
don't have
like
to suck up to
the
him.
first
You can
meeting
tell him
on
this
a
is a
project.
terrible fucking idea.
I'm going to click the Would You Rather question, and we're going to answer it no matter what it says. Here's the first question. Would you rather not have turkey on Thanksgiving or not get any candy on Halloween? What would you guys rather do?
I mean,
well, my house is pescatarian, so I don't have turkey on Thanksgiving anyways.
That's a boring answer, Ryan. Okay.
Loser!
And Halloween's my favorite holiday, so...
we also don't eat turkey at our place, so...
This question seems a little
pretty
Are you criticizing my game, Ollie?
Little bit. Although I will say I would 100% go. I don't care about candy. I want the turkey. Turkey is like I wait every year until Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
For the meal. Like the meal is the most important part. You only get to eat those types of foods one time per year. I mean, you can make them normally, but
that's true.
I
It'd
just
be weird
love it
if
too
you
much.
did.
It would be weird. Yeah, I mean, like you can't just make cranberry sauce casually, you know?
Yeah.
But I wish you could. I wish you could.
Okay. Would you rather lose 5 friends? Oh God.
Yeah.
Or
It's a few of them
I get
on
to
this
pick?
call.
or gain 2 enemies?
Jesus Christ. What does enemies mean? Like people who are hunting me down?
Yeah, are they gonna kill us, or is this just like I kind of hate you and I don't want to be in the same room as you? Like,
Yeah, this is tough. I have a lot of enemies, like on different tiers. There's like enemy tiers, like adversary, where there's like a mutual respect, kind of like a Team Rocket Ash Ketchum thing. But then there's enemies where it's on site, you know, where we will start
Really,
swinging
Denali?
if we. I live a high rev lifestyle, and you catch a lot of enemies in my
That
life.
car season really went to your head.
I'm making them left and right. What do you guys think? I don't think I can't lose any allies in this war. So if I can't do that. 2 more enemies, whatever, man.
If they named the friends, I like beforehand.
Oh, what if it was like the
I've
movie
got
The
enough
Box?
stock,
Yeah.
we can cash in.
If I could pick the friends for sure, I'd pick that one. But honestly, having enemies sounds kind of fun. I don't know.
You don't have any enemies?
I sit around in
not
the
that
suburbs.
I know of. I hope not, at least. Maybe I do. Maybe there's a bunch of people out there who just hate me, and I just never see them and never think about them, and that probably makes them even madder.
What would be the worst type of enemy you could get? I think like an 80-year-old neighbor that is just like complains about everything that you do. I'd sacrifice 5 of my friends to avoid that situation.
Yeah.
It depends on what tier ring the friends are, because you have like the tier 1 that maybe you talk to every day, and then there's rings that go outward, and maybe when
you're dead.
Tier 3 and below, I think is gonna be dead. Great. Okay, let's do another one. These are okay, right? These are okay questions. None of these are
They're
terrible.
arable. They're arable. I don't know if we should.
Yeah. Would you rather be poor but everyone loves you, or a billionaire and nobody likes you? I think this is just true
That's
to our
just what
situation.
That's just real life. Like, what do you mean?
I'm skipping that one. That one's stupid. Okay. No.
Wait.
questions?
But I want to choose though. Sorry. Hold on a second. I'm taking the $1 billion.
Billion? I mean, ooh. Oh,
I could not have
I'd
any
fuck
friends
off
that sit
to-
on a beach all day. The ocean's
But-
my friend.
Nobody likes you, dude. That means even your servants don't like you, and I can't have.
What
need
makes
to
you think I'm
have
gonna have
servants.
servants?
Are we gonna have robots?
That's your idea of what you would do. Man, if I had a couple more bucks,
They get
so I'd
paid.
make people
everywhere.
fucking work for me.
How do you think I became a billionaire, man? You don't get there without.
You became a billionaire through this magic question.
Through synergy, business synergy.
Through the synergy, dude. You get.
It enables, advancements in technology and transformations in your personal lifestyle,
Exactly. So you're really
Standard
good
stuff.
at that, man. Okay. Would you rather live in a world where robots or aliens ruled the world?
Aliens. Aliens have the possibility of having empathy. Like robots are just gonna slice that off.
They
I
could
don't
have
know.
empathy.
Yeah, they could have empathy. Like, I'm thinking
robot be
robots.
empathetic.
I'm thinking robots.
No way, the Matrix, man.
Dude, a robot's probably listening to this right now,
Counterpoint,
dog.
Wally.
Oh, yeah, Wally. What do you think of that, Ryan? Huh?
That robot have empathy,
don't
or
think-
did it just want to fuck the other robot?
I think
Is
a little
that
bit of both.
empathy?
I think Wally was trying to smash, but I do think he's a good guy too.
Yeah, he was just trying to clean up Earth.
But the bad guy was a robot.
There was a bad guy in
There was a
Wally.
bad
I thought
guy
it
in
was
Wally?
human.
Fuck,
I mean,
was.
alien.
No,
We have
he's
a
right,
50%
he's right.
chance with aliens showing up. It's like a Star Trek universe. Boom, instantly.
There's also
no, it's-
Signs
not
and
50.
War of the Worlds.
I'm taking it.
I'm not taking.
At least we'll have an
aliens.
interesting weekend. If it's Signs, or War of the Worlds, I'll have something going on for a few hours.
Do you know what? Okay, listen. I took a class on dissection in high school. We dissected animals that were below us on whatever fucking arbitrary tree we had.
Man, I just saw fire in the sky. Don't worry about it, dude. I know worst case scenario.
I'm gonna go with Ryan, though. I'm gonna choose aliens. I think for aliens to get to us, there's a more beneficial. Oh my God, what if it's just robot aliens?
Oh
fuck.
shit!
No,
dude.
if aliens are conquering other planets,
Yeah.
they've
Conquering.
solved the robot overlord problem.
But if they're traveling all the way to Earth, their organic bodies might die. So they might be like advanced enough where they're uploading themselves into the robot body. Like,
shit.
what if it's a combo deal here?
What?
Or
It's
they
Ryan's
started as
favorite
aliens and now
movie
they're-
with that space nanotech robot. The
Alien?
the moon was hollow. What movie was
Moonfall?
that? Moonfall.
Wait, Ryan's ideal.
I hated
'cause
that
there was
movie.
there was an
wait.
AI. Ryan liked.
Are you
that
thinking of
movie.
Geostorm?
I'm thinking of Geostorm. I'm confusing Geostorm and.
If I could posit this, if robots ruled the world, if we were in Matrix pods, I could live in 1999 and wear fucking cool ass rave clothes and just
Sounds
live
awesome.
in that world away from
And
iPhones
Rage
and
Against the
TikTok.
Machines playing,
Yeah.
and you're talking on phone boxes.
That
Oh,
sounds
so
badass,
cool.
dude. I want to live in that world. So
Yeah.
Robots, feel free, have at it. I'm gonna do one more. I'm sure as we cut around this, this is gonna be 5 minutes. No. Okay. Would you rather? No, not doing this. Fuck this.
Oh.
Okay, I'm not doing that. Would you rather never have to do laundry or never have to do dishes again?
Laundry.
Yeah, laundry.
Dishwasher is so
Fuck
much
laundry.
easier.
Fuck
Yeah,
laundry.
laundry.
I'm gonna
'cause-
answer for Yuri as well and say laundry because of the amount of clothing on the floor in our bedroom.
Yeah, laundry's our black sheep
Kryptonite.
of the chore hold. Yeah.
And hopefully in this scenario, your laundry would be like perfectly maintained too, because like my washer just like flings my clothes around, man. It destroys them.
Really?
Yeah, it like my favorite sweater was ripped to shreds.
To
It was
shreds.
very
Wow.
sad. To
My
shreds.
dryer shrinks stuff. I have a tote bag I got from a particular bookstore in Scotland, and it's destroyed.
Gone.
I've got to like get on eBay or something.
It's like this big now. Just
Yeah.
can't
It can
carry
hold
anything. Yeah,
the
I can hold a
first cup.
soda.
Harry Potter 1.
pocketbooks
Okay.
only.
Would you guys rather receive $500 each time you make someone laugh, or $10?
What?
I'm sorry. $10.
Would you have more money or less money?
Is this like the sickest burn? This would you rather generator?
This is one of those websites they let kindergartners devise all the questions.
I don't think we could do it, guys. I think we should settle for the 10. Okay, well, I think that was a good sesh.
Jesus
Ollie,
Christ,
thank you
that's
for
terrible.
humoring us. That was a great session.
Those questions were amazing, honestly.
Thank you. See, I like this guy, all right? But, folks, we did watch a movie this week. We watched a certain movie. Ryan, was this your pick this week?
Yeah, it was my pick. I took one for the team here. Let me open IMDb.
Why you gotta look at IMDb, Ryan?
This is my thing. Okay. Did you know that the
spitball.
picture of
Okay.
Mia's deceased father next to her music box is Anne Hathaway's real life father? Wow, I didn't know that.
Wait, that's pretty cool. Wait, no, this is Princess Diaries trivia again, right? This is what you do every time. This is stupid. Okay, now we gotta wait. This is dead air. This is what he does to us every week, Ollie. Like this,
This
Yeah,
week
we're
we
going to be here
watched,
for 30
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah,
Just to
that's
let you
fine.
know.
That's fine.
This
I mean-
week we watched The Nice Guys, starring your boy Ryan Gosling. He's a pal around town, I guess, with Russell Crowe. There are two kind of like PIs, like private investigators, and it's in the 70s in LA. There's something about a missing girl, and she's somehow related to pornographic filmmaking. So they have a bunch of raunchy adventures. They go around town. Ryan Gosling's daughter hides in the trunk of his car for a majority of the movie. So like she's involved in random scenes. There you go. It was made in 2016 or 2017
you
or
looked
something
up
like that.
IMDb for that.
He tells me to improv, and then the times I improv, he's like, "No, that fucking sucks." And then the times I don't, he's like, "That sucks." Okay, so
You're
that's
gonna
it.
watch this podcast fall apart on air right now, Ollie.
I live for this, honestly.
Last time I went too descriptive.
Good job.
I like the description. It was fairly accurate, except for I don't think both of them are PIs. That's the only thing I'm gonna point out.
Yeah, Ryan, fucking inaccurate.
Just-
Spreading
just
misinformation as usual. One of them was a muscle man. This movie came out May 20th, 2016. We haven't done the box office game in a little bit. Let's do a little bit of a box office game. This movie didn't make a lot of money, guys. This movie only made like $1 million above its budget or something. Like it premiered number 4 in the box office May 20th, 2016. Number 1 was a smash hit based on an iPhone game. Can you guys guess what the number 1 movie was?
Angry
Angry
Birds?
Birds.
Angry
yeah.
Birds. Ryan, I think that was your first. Ding! 1 point for Ryan.
Oh, I'm back on top, baby.
Number 2 was a sequel to a popular comedy starring Seth Rogen.
Neighbors, too.
22.
Neighbors 2, Sorority Rising. Another point for Ryan.
We're back.
Shit.
Jesus Christ. Number 3.
I took a
Wow.
couple Adderall on May 20th, 2016. So
And you remembered the whole
I
box
remember
office.
every part of the day. I went to the theater and memorized the marquee.
You're
You
just going
saw
back into your
Neighbors
mind
2?
palace.
Well, on Adderall. Number 3. This is a sequel to a massive franchise. I'm going to give you less hints for this one.
Is it Marvel?
It's a Marvel movie, yeah.
Is
Thor 2.
It's
Was
not
it-
Thor 2.
Captain America 2? Whatever the name subtitle of that one is.
Winter Soldier.
Is
Winter
it-
Soldier,
is-
what?
oh, Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier. I guess.
It's not Winter Soldier.
Fuck.
Captain America back in action.
It's the other sequel, man. It's a huge movie.
Captain America 3,
I've never
Civil
watched
War?
it.
It's Captain America Civil War. Ding for Ryan. Jesus Christ. Flawless victory. Mortal Kombat.
Finish them.
Great work, Ryan. That was an incredible
Yeah,
streak.
I was
don't know
sandbagging the last
where you
couple
were hiding that.
couple weeks.
I wanted to ask you guys: have you guys seen this movie before, Ollie? I think you might have. You mentioned that you like this movie, right?
Yeah, I saw it, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago. Honestly, I remembered like a couple bits. I remembered like the set pieces, like the locations. I didn't remember most of it other than I thought it was funny, and I was impressed by Ryan Gosling in it, honestly. That was about it, though.
Yeah, same. Like, I saw this when it came out. I rented it with my dad, and I remember him looking at his iPad, and he's like, "Oh, this was AARP's top movie of the year." And we were like, "Oh, cool." It's like not the accolade you want on your cool movie, but he was like, "It's probably because it's in the '70s. They're all fucking old." And then we watched it, and we ended up really liking it. Like, I thought it was great.
I just couldn't. I said, "Oh God," because like I couldn't imagine watching this with like a parent or someone, you know. Like,
because there's nudity.
there's a lot of
Two
sex.
shots of
going on.
boobies.
There's right
At the beginning.
Yeah, there's no shot. There's shots of nudity, but there's no like
Sex
It's
scenes.
not like
Yeah,
watching Game of Thrones where it's like 3 minutes of foreplay. And you know, my family is the type to kind of look at my micro expressions and to see how I'm reacting.
Did Alex stand up? What?
See, with my family, I was the one who would like pick out the movies, and I would always go to like the parental guidance website and double check to see how bad the movie we were gonna watch was before I watched it with my mom, because I was like, I'm not gonna, I don't want to. If it's
The
too
real key
explicit,
movie, or the real key move is to do the exact opposite. Go to the parental guidance and find ones that are really messed up.
Yeah.
It's like when Superbad came out in theaters, and my parents took me to it. and 6 minutes into the movie, my stepmom was like, "What the fuck?" And she made us leave and go watch something else.
Oh no.
I'm not gonna. I can't say that. Yeah, so I mean, this movie, I think right off the get, you kind of get a lot of mirror. We watched Gangster Squad last episode, Ollie, which is about old like Hollywood in the 50s, and seeing it again this movie, you get a Hollywood sign shot. It's the same shot going in, and you kind of get this retro thing. And I'm like, and at this point, Amber's like, "Is this a sequel to this?" Like, she didn't know what this movie was, and she's like, "Please no, don't fucking do this again." Have you seen Gangster Squad, Ollie?
No, I unfortunately have not.
Definitely worth a watch.
No.
It's a great movie.
I'm the one who liked it, so I should say it is worth a watch. But
it's not good. Amber's mom saw Kim Basinger at a park one time. In this movie.
wow.
Yeah.
Let's put that into the IMDb trivia.
Yeah, she saw it at a park and seemed nice. But how does this movie start? Car crashes through the Hollywood sign into a house, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure the kid, like, he goes into his parents' rooms, steals just a porno mag from underneath the bed, which is just, like, way to, like, hide your porn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he,
under your parents' bed, dude, right under the sleeping dragon.
And then he, like, he starts looking at it while drinking a glass of milk, which I thought was kind of
cool
weird. I have
kid.
that in my notes. Like, yeah, just looking at porn, drinking milk, kid stuff.
Then there's the abrupt change of scene when a car careens off the road and hits the house, and there's a porn star, the one that he was looking at in the magazine,
Misty Mouse.
laying there with
pose.
her shirt open, like dying on the side of the road. And Julie had taken the dog out while the kid was looking at the magazine, and then came back in while he's like standing over her dead corpse. and she was like, "What the?" I was gone for like 30 seconds.
This is why you don't look at porn, kids.
And it's
That's what
it's the
happens.
only
They die in front of you.
It's the only way to get from that to that within 30 seconds. There's like no other way for it to happen unless he like is a superpower kid and he has like ability to conjure whatever he's thinking about.
Yeah, that's actually going to be a good side spin-off movie, is a kid who summons people to die in front of him when he sees them in a magazine.
My
Also,
question is, are these parents on Quaaludes that he can walk into their bedroom and get under the bed and steal a nudie mag and then not react to a car driving through their home?
Maybe they got ran over, This kid's probably
maybe.
traumatized,
Yeah, maybe it's the
like,
bedroom that got crushed.
Because they went through the house, right? Like,
did.
they
Maybe
could have just gotten ran over. Who knows?
Maybe they're dead. I don't know. You get introduced to Russell Crowe's character, I think, right after this, who's playing kind of like this. What he has like a magazine ad, and you pay him to beat people up,
Strong arm, yeah.
which is amazing. I think that's so fucking tight. And much in the same vein, you got Ryan Gosling, private investigator who runs around and is kind of almost like a vigilante, right? Isn't that what kind of private investigators are? They
I would say
operate-
maybe Russell Crowe is more like a vigilante.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling is not a very good. Maybe he's okay. His daughter thinks he's the worst in the world, but like
Yeah.
his clientele is old women at a trailer park or something.
It's so sad.
And he honestly doesn't seem like he cares about like actually solving the crimes. It's more
Yeah,
that he just
exactly.
wants the money.
Because
collect
like
the checks,
this woman will be like, I'm looking for my husband, he's been missing, and then Ryan Gosling will like see a pile of ash or like an urn full of ashes on the mantle and be like, how long has he been missing? And she'll be like, since the funeral. And he'll take her money.
Yeah, he's like, I'll start right away, which I think is so great. Like, I was wondering, Ryan. I mean, you have some law experience, like private investigator. Is that like real? Like, is people like run around with like a gun and a camera?
So
And they can
PIs
start-
are real.
Okay.
You probably
This is why I was confused earlier. Okay, sorry. Can I interject quickly? There are private eyes, which I think you were saying from the Wikipedia page. A private eye is a non-sanctioned police type person, and then there's a PI, private investigator, which sound very close to each other.
Oh, they're not
but
the same.
They're not the
So-
same. So
Oh.
private. I guess this guy's a private eye, right?
I think
he's
he
doing
has
things
a-
kind of like off the books.
Yeah, but he did say that he had a badge. So Ryan Gosling is a private investigator, and then I think we could call the Russell Crowe's character a private eye, but he has no relation to like a police station or the law.
Okay, we'll say. How about this? We'll say that their backgrounds are not really explained at all.
Yeah.
But private investigators are real, and actually they can be used in the investigation of whatever you want. Like, I mean,
That's
it's
fucking
easy
wild.
to imagine how you would want to use them for like a civil suit. I know sometimes cases people will be faking injuries, and so they'll have a PI sit outside in like a fake plumbing truck, like a
Holy
van,
shit.
and like,
That's incredible.
with a camera for like a couple days and catch a guy mowing his lawn.
So that's real.
So
People
that's
fucking-
real, but also
Oh my
with
God.
the criminal justice system, sometimes you need investigators to go check things out, and so that does happen very rarely, especially in towns that don't have investigators on the force necessarily.
That sounds like a great way to get murdered. I think sticking your business, especially in LA, holy shit. Well, Ryan Gosling, you see him, he wakes up in a bathtub while he's in a suit, and I think it's a great intro to see, like, usually Ryan Gosling, I think he either plays really cool roles or roles where he's really on the back foot. He's crawling out of his bathtub with his daughter's on the answering machine. And you instantly get the feeling like this guy's a fucking loser. And how did they kind of converge? It was a little complex, I think.
So my understanding is that Russell Crowe was paid by Amelia because Amelia is a woman who was in a porno movie, and she's now trying to like kind of disappear. And she was linked to the girl we were talking about earlier. We'll find out that they were linked to the girl who died. But she was kind of trying to disappear, right? But she knew people were looking for her through her backstory. Like, she knows that her mom and all these people are looking for her. So she hired Russell Crowe to find and kind of get those people off her back. And
Right.
through a sheer coincidence, Ryan Gosling was paid by someone not involved with the people who were actually trying to hurt Amelia by this blind lady who thought she saw her or something, to find Amelia. Or at least to find the woman who's dead, and who Amelia was perhaps mistaken for.
Their convergence is so great because you instantly kind of get the vibe of both of them. Because he instantly gets punched in the face. Ryan's like, he's just like, "There's $20. That's all I got. Just take it, please." And
Gives
then
up his client immediately.
yeah,
Because Russell Crowe thinks that this person is trying to kill Amelia.
Yeah, because he's looking for her, right?
Yeah,
Like,
so
he was
he's
hired to
like,
stop people from looking for her.
really
makes
gonna beat
sense.
him up and say, "Don't fucking look for Amelia anymore." And Ryan Gosling's like, "I don't give a fuck about Amelia. I'm not like, I don't care. Like, whatever." And
he
that's
immediately
pretty funny.
sells out his client, like everything. And then, because I think what makes a great Ryan Gosling role, it's going to go into my meter, is that he gets the shit beat out of him. And in this movie, it's like every scene. This dude is like he's like a big slapstick character. And I think this is the culmination of like what we saw in Lars and the Real Girl or like other movies where he has good physical comedy. He could finally just do that the whole movie where he's like screaming, the guy breaks his arm and he like screams, he's like, "Ah!" And like I think it's so great.
I think I agree, Denali. What I'm gonna put into the meter for me is like, is he the lens that the audience like puts themselves into, like that they see the world through. Because Russell Crowe is kind of a bad guy. You know,
Right.
he's showing up to Ryan Gosling's house and breaking his arm for like no reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes he has to defend himself too, like, and he does kill people. But a couple times in the movie, we're shown that Russell Crowe is kind of a loose cannon.
Right.
So Ryan Gosling is a loser, but he's also the stand-in for the audience. And I think that's probably a big draw for what the types of roles that he takes.
He is kind of an everyman.
Yeah, so Lars and the Real Girl was kind of like a curveball because he's the main character for sure, but the audience was really his family. And so I think that's something I'm going to look for in the future.
I think that's a good point. And I think even here, down to even certain things where it's like he punches through, this was in the trailer, where he punches through the glass. Just like a real person. He doesn't have the plot armar for that.
And he doesn't,
like,
he doesn't like
almost
think of like a
dies.
more clever way to do it.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah,
this
use a
should
crowbar.
work.
Yeah.
No.
The butt of his
And
gun.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I
literally
remember
almost
seeing
dies,
that.
right?
Yeah, he almost dies like multiple times in this movie.
And there's like a
seeing
jump
those
cut to him
scenes-
in an ambulance, and he's being,
Yeah.
he's being
They're losing.
hilarious.
And Shane Black, like the director of this movie, he kind of went in being like, I'm going to subvert. I mean, everyone says they want to subvert tropes, but I think in here, they're kind of taking the piss out of those movies, even down to like where there's a later scene with like kind of a reverse Chekhov's gun where Russell Crowe has an ankle gun and Ryan Gosling has a dream about him having an ankle gun. And there's a big reveal where he's like, he jumps for the ankle gun. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, did I dream that? Which I think is, it's like a funny characterization, but it's also just like, I think it's so great that they put that in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any experience with Shane Black? Like, have you seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
Iron Man
Lethal
3.
Weapon.
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon I've heard of. I think I watched it when I was way too young to watch it, but I don't remember it.
Oh, I've seen them all. His writing, the ones he writes, I think are better than the ones he directs. I do not like Shane Black. I think, but I love this movie, but like that's kind of a spoiler for the end of our episode. But like,
Oh, Ryan, god damn it.
I think this is far and away. He's someone who takes big swings.
Yeah.
Like, he really, really lets it go. And if it's on, it's really, really, really on. But if it's off, it's really, really, really off. Because he made the
Right.
new Predator movie that tanked. And I haven't seen it. It's the one Predator movie I haven't seen.
Oh,
The Predator.
bonus episode. Oh, okay. I thought it was like Prey was great, man. What the fuck?
No, I know.
Okay, yeah.
And
yeah.
so, but he's someone who cannot step away from like dick jokes.
Right,
And if it's a movie that's about Predator, you don't really want that sort of thing in there. Especially in the original Predator, he plays the character who is like
Oh.
addicted to telling dirty jokes.
That's him.
That's him.
he's-
That's Shane Black.
Okay. Gotcha. What is he talking about? The Predator's dick or something in the new one? Is there like a lot of Predator dick jokes?
It's just that sort of humor, like to cut. It's like a Marvel movie, sort of.
Does the Predator
but with
dick have weird
jokes.
jaws on it?
And so
think about.
in this movie, he has the benefit of it being about porn. So it fits thematically, and I think that's the big key for why it works.
Yeah, it is somewhat adolescent, I think, and like the dialogue. It's kind of like Quentin Tarantino, where they're talking about nothing a lot for comedic effect. Here, I think it works. I think between Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, where they're just kind of going back and forth, and you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? But it's like it adds to their character.
For me, there was a bit of erosion. Like first 90 minutes of the movie, I'm like, nice. And then you have it figured out. You have the dialogue pretty well understood what's gonna happen, and you're like, joke 3, 2, 1,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it hits. And
Right.
they're still funny because they're not jokes in a way that like I've ever heard them before. Like in the end of the movie, Ryan Gosling's line, like, well, I mean, at least nobody got hurt. And then one of the other characters like, people died. He's like, yeah, but I think they died quick, so it probably didn't hurt. It's just like,
That was a good one.
it's so funny, but the whole movie has been that. And,
Yeah.
Nothing
eh,
feels serious in this movie.
There was a
Yeah.
couple earnest scenes, right? And that was like not all the way through the movie. So normally the passing of a movie is you have like comedy build up, and then like maybe 2/3 the way through the movie you'll have like an earnest scene that kind of fuels the climax, and then after the climax you'll have another earnest scene.
Yeah.
But there really wasn't that at the end. It was.
I mean,
I agree with Jay totally.
the only thing I can think of in terms of at the end was when Holly asks Russell Crowe basically not to kill the main bad guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I didn't really like that scene because I was like, I guess it fits his character arc a little bit, but it seems like in my mind he would have killed him anyway, right? Like he doesn't care about this little girl necessarily, but I guess that was part of. It just seemed a little off to me, that part.
It did. I think it did feel like a little bit. They were trying to develop his character, give him a little more empathy, and make him a little more forgivable. I almost get like a war veteran vibe from him. Like he's from Vietnam or World War II or some shit at that time, and he has some kind of weird compulsion because he's very violent in this movie, and you're kind of wondering where is this coming from? Why is he okay with just killing people? Like, what's his background? And, like, she says, like, if you kill that guy, I'll never talk to you again. And I think some people like that. They might be like, okay, fuck you. I'm just going to do this then, you know. But it did make me like him a little more that maybe he cared to not kill somebody in front of a 13-year-old girl. So,
yeah, maybe the problem was, or for him at least, wasn't that he was like, oh, I don't want to kill this person because that would make me a bad person. He's like, I don't want to kill this person in front of this little girl. Like, that's the only reason he didn't do it.
Mid-strangle. He's like, ah, God. I want to, though.
Which is interesting because I think a 13-year-old might have the sense to say, I just watched that guy kill 20 people.
And threaten to kill me.
Maybe you should get rid of him. I think it is also maybe in Black's style to have the character development done in this way, because Ryan Gosling's character starts out as just like a bumbling drunk idiot, and then through the course of the investigation, he comes to lucidity, says something, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. The scene where he describes the different way to interpret the note about the location of where they need to find Amelia was very, very well done. And there's
then he was wrong.
There's parts in movies sometimes you watch, you're like, oh man, I wanna make something like that. I wanna like write a scene like that. But that's too good. I'll never be able to write a scene like that. I was kind of struck by that scene in particular and how well crafted the plot line about the note was. And then the joke at the end being like, oh yeah, we just stumbled upon the actual correct answer by complete coincidence. Yeah. Everybody's wrong. It's like was an extra layer that I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
Even though I've seen this movie before.
At the end of that, right? Like they go in, they try to go find her. Amazing scene in the elevator where it's just purely silence, but like they go up the elevator, look out, see a bunch of dudes getting shot, and then they just get back in the elevator and go down. And Ryan Gosling is literally shaking in the elevator. Yeah. And they get back in their car, and the thing they were looking for just falls on top of them. Right? They don't even have to like. Amelia just somehow appears out of thin air on top of their car, and they just find her. Like it, yeah.
And I like how Ryan Gosling, like, he's a drunk, and so he wants to just hang out in the bar at the hotel. Like they spent all this time going to this hotel to find this woman, and he wants to just hang out in the bar of the hotel.
Well, he just like Jack Sparrows his way through the whole movie, where he's completely hammered. Just things just fall into place on top of him.
And he even mentions that, right? Like.
He's like, I can't die.
I'm invincible. That's the only way this makes sense. It's like, kind of.
I think right after he says, I can't die, he ends up falling off of 3 balconies in a row and then gets hit by a car. And then I remember reading like one comment about like him holding the film in his hand, and then like he gets shot and someone's like, oh, it's plot armor. He's like, he's the
I don't know. That's a weird
plot armor.
That might be too smart for Shane Black.
It's a genius. But I mean, there's various scenes in here. There's a lot of different gags. There's kind of a big set piece at a 70s party that they're at, where it's like that's
the only main scene that I remember from the first time I watched this movie. A major point I want to make is that this isn't a novel concept about a movie that's making a commentary about porn, because in this they are tracking down someone who is in a porno movie. So the movie necessarily is going to have porn in it. But the porno movie that they're tracking down is one that was specifically trying to be about the plot. So they're making a commentary. They're saying like, you're trying to make a porn movie that's about the plot? And they're kind of like wink at the camera, and they're doing like, that's what we're doing right now. And so last week I also watched the movie X, which is a horror movie with like Jenna Ortega and like Kid Cudi and stuff. And that is about people who are making a porno movie, and the movie's a horror movie. It's about people who are getting killed, but the people who are getting killed are making a porno, and that porno is about the plot, right? And that's also what is the plot of Boogie Nights. So this is not like an original idea.
Okay.
However, I think that out of those 3 movies, this is the only one that doesn't have a sex scene. So it's actually completely like unpredictably the one that's done the most tastefully.
Right.
You have Shane Black and Paul Thomas Anderson, and Shane Black somehow wins this one.
Yeah, I was really expecting in the scene where they're at the party and they go into the back room and Holly's like watching the film. I thought they were at least going to pan over and show it a little bit. They didn't. It was just
that's a really interesting decision. Yeah. And I don't know whether it was like studio? Probably not.
budget?
By the way that everything else was handled, I actually would maybe assume not. Maybe it's
And neither of the main characters really had any like love interests, except for like, you know, Ryan Gosling had like a little crush on Tally, but that was about it. Like they didn't.
Yeah, it's a really
there was
good
no
point, too.
love interests in this movie.
I also think it could have been a budget thing too. This thing was pretty low budget, and I think to include maybe like a sex, because I think there's more involved. Maybe to put that in a movie, you know, maybe there's like that's not fucking. I don't think there's a reason to put it in anyways. I think it would get in the way of the comedy.
You consider this low budget, because I was like consistently surprised at how much effort they put into retrofying LA.
I did, yeah.
And
Big set
like
piece.
that party, they must have shot all that in like 1 or 2 days, because like
That would be an amazing extra gig.
it was a
yeah.
great scene. It was a really great setup. It was like the party had a theme. The
mermaids.
theme was nudity, but like it was really cool.
Scenes like that, I mean, it makes me want to be at like a 70s party where everyone's like playing disco and they're just like fucking around like that. It's funny, like party scenes, like as like as someone who's been an extra in a few films, it's like when you have scenes like that, it's funny because it's like dead silent normally. What they tell you to do is actually, they don't play any music, they just tell you like mouth everything, and you kind of go like this, and you kind of pretend you're talking to everybody. So like the scenes with like 800 people, it's always dead fucking silent. It's really awkward.
Really?
It's like you're at like a silent rave, and it's just the actors. They can hear each other with the mics. They're like, oh yeah, we got to find this guy, blah blah blah, and you know, but there's no music. Everyone, all you can hear is shuffling of the feet and maybe like. And it's a really awkward scene. So whenever I see party scenes like this, I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, wow, it seems really natural. But, yeah. So in this scene, you get a great scene with Ryan Gosling getting extremely hammered at the bar, and he goes up to this one girl. He's like, "Hey, shoot me!" And then he just flies. She like mime shoots him. He overcommits, flies off the side of the roof, I guess, and tumbles down a hill, which I thought was so fucking funny.
Yeah, and loses his gun as well. Like he definitely could have died in that, but obviously,
Yeah.
you know,
He's
Ryan
plot
Gosling.
armor, yeah. Also the right before that, when he progressively gets hammered throughout the party, and whenever somebody mentions there's an open bar too, he like turns his head really funny. It happens several times. But he has this script. He goes up to people and says, "Hi, I'm so and so, and I'm looking for this girl Amelia. She was last seen here. Do you know her? If you end up seeing her, can you please let me know? Thanks, bye," kind of a thing. And then by the end of the party, he's absolutely hammered, and he goes, "Hi, I'm Amelia.
Have you seen
If
me?
you see me, let me know my name."
Did you guys see the trivia about the dead body he finds when he falls to the bottom of the hill?
I didn't read the trivia for this, so I'm excited. What?
Apparently,
Tell me.
that was Robert Downey Jr. in an uncredited role.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
They put like a bunch of makeup and a beard on him, and they carried him around. But that's just, I guess he was on the lot that day. and
He's
they
also
just put him
friends
in
with
the
Shane
movie.
Black.
Okay, Iron Man 3, right?
Well, and
But,
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and everything. They work together like all the time.
and Iron Man 3, the best Marvel movie.
Yeah,
That,
okay.
I think cannot tout the chemistry between Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling enough in this movie. And when they found that body, and it's kind of the duality. You have blackout drunk, crazy Ryan Gosling and stone cold sober Ryan Crowe who's trying to do his job. And they get down there. He finally sees him. He sees the body. And Russell Crowe's like, okay, let's throw up. And then we'll move the body. And just the fact that both of them needed to do that. And it was like, well, I don't think I've ever seen that included in a movie before.
Yeah,
I was like,
I totally agree. That caught me off guard because Ryan Gosling had said he wants to throw up before that.
Right.
And you're thinking, oh, he's not used to seeing dead bodies. Russell Crowe, the tough guy, is going to come down here with a strong stomach and say, I see dead bodies all the time. And the unexpected joke of him also wanting to throw up had me rolling.
It's shocking seeing a dead body. I even worked at like a cadaver lab in school. So like I was around dead bodies a lot. And granted, they're like discolored because they're like cadavers. But I remember the first day where they're like, hey, we got to break the ice. You guys just come back here. We're going to show you the bodies. And they just kind of like unveil them. And I was kind of like looking, I mean, one, I was freaked out. Like all the color just drained out of everyone's faces. And I was like, I felt like wobbling the knees. I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ. And, you know, I was prepared. Like the dead bodies are supposed to be dead in that scene. So finding one that's not supposed to be at a party, I would throw up 100%. Throw up. There was a lot of Hitler jokes just randomly coming off of Ryan Gosling. What did he say? He was like, you know who else was following orders? Hitler. And he like winks at Russell Crowe. You're like, what are you talking?
Sure.
Orders from who?
The running jokes I appreciated because like Ryan Gosling's character is imperfect, right? Like,
Yeah.
Russell Crowe's character can kind of piece things together. He's seen more as like he's the plot device where if you need to know something, you ask his character. Yeah. But Ryan Gosling's the exact opposite. He's not much help. He can't smell, and the fact that is brought up like as a joke for a little while, he's like, "Yeah, I got hit in the head, can't smell." And he's kind of like dismissive about it. And then later we find out that's how his wife died. Is that he couldn't smell the gas leak. And you're like, oh my God, we can no longer joke about this.
Yeah. Like they really they take the joke, you get the laugh, and they bring it front and center, and you're like, oh my God. And it's almost more of a satisfying thing that they're taking something seriously about his character.
Yeah.
To kind of flesh him out a little bit. You kind of get to the point where you run into the bad guy. We didn't really mention this scene, but he has like a blue paint explosion on his face. He was trying to like mess with Russell Crowe earlier, and he randomly gets hit by a van in this movie, which I think is a really funny, abrupt gag. The van opens his car door. You're expecting Ryan Gosling or Russell Crowe, and it's just some guy being like, "Oh fuck!" and he like closes the door and peels out.
I'm out of here.
Which you see the van later too in the movie.
I was gonna say I did the point at the screen thing. I thought that it's the exact same van.
So I looked it up, and it is the same van, and apparently it has a dent in the front too.
What?
So
Wait,
it is.
when does that show up? I didn't see that.
Like right at the end.
Yeah, they're stuck in a traffic jam, and the guy in the same van stuck in the traffic jam. He's like, "Oh, come on!" Like,
oh my God.
And I think that's such an LA thing too, because I've seen a lot of hit and runs in LA, down to one where like a wheel fucking flew off a vehicle, and the vehicle only had 3 wheels, and he still peeled out and tried to get away. His front bumper with the license plate was left behind, and the wheel rolled straight up to me and Amber on the sidewalk, and we were like, "How would you?" Yeah, you know. But,
dude, sometimes you come out with these stories, and they are like really on point, and you're on a roll today.
I'm on a roll. I have a lot of experience because it takes place in LA. That's why it's all the.
It's just a normal day in LA.
I gotta get out of Rochester, man.
You see a lot of shit. You can make a lot of memories. You come to this city, so we can kind of probably. This is probably kind of wrapping up like the story, right? Because
the story kind of doesn't really go far. It kind of turns to like an anti-government colluding with big companies.
It's fucking cool, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Detroit always wins.
Yeah, and
till it doesn't.
The missing girl part gets dodged pretty quickly when the person just in one scene just shoots her, and now
that's shocking.
It's just done.
I like my jaw like unhinged when I saw that shot. I was like, oh my God.
And then it's very complicated. We're not going to explain the whole thing, but there's a big auto show. And they're trying to take down the auto companies, essentially, who are in bed with the government. And they're going to show a porno movie where the car companies are in bed with the government. And
nice one, Ryan. Shane Black, yeah.
And then that's kind of how it goes. They want to make sure the movie is preserved. The only copy of the movie is preserved.
I kind of thought that angle was funny in that they were making, like, Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe were making fun of the protesters at first, right? In the beginning, where it was kind of a funny, like, they're all laying dead on the Capitol steps, and they're like, "Oh, what do you guys fucking complain?" But then later on, they're like, "Oh fuck, this is pretty fucked up." Like they kind of
can't breathe. Whoops.
Yeah. And it's kind of this big action set piece. You have this guy John Boy who shows up, who looks like the most evil murderer I've ever seen. I don't know how they found this Matt Bomer. But he looks like a fucking murderer as soon as you see him, which I think is so funny. Like, me and Amber laughed when we saw him show up.
I thought for a second he reminds me of like Crispin Glover. Like he's like a way more attractive Crispin Glover with his haircut.
The dad in Back to the Future, right? That's
exactly.
Yes,
or like he plays
like
a similar
guy.
character, kind of like this in like Charlie's Angels and stuff. And he's like obsessed with hair, and he has the worst haircut in the world.
Also, I mean, they imply that he came in from Detroit, and then he arrives at their house, opens his trunk, and pulls out a Tommy gun or something. And it's like this dude just drove across like 8 or 9 states with like a bunch of weapons in his trunk.
Yeah,
and that's just normal. Makes sense.
They don't check you at Michigan, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
I was surprised in this movie that they did guns better than Gangster Squad did, and that pissed me off a little bit. Like he pulled out, I think, a Tommy gun and shot, and then had to reload like 8 times in the fight, whereas Gangster Squad was just like 4 minutes straight up.
There's a lot of good gun gags. We can't name all of them, but one of them was like Russell Crowe runs out of bullets. He's like, "Toss me the gun," and Ryan Gosling throws the gun out the window by accident, and he's like, "Oh fuck!"
I'm pretty sure that's because his right arm is broken, right? Or is it his left arm?
Oh.
Or is his
I
left
think he
arm?
broke
Never mind.
his left arm, yeah.
I was just wondering, was it using his like non-dominant arm to toss it, and that's why he misses?
Just an idiot.
Or he's just an idiot.
That wouldn't surprise me though, because there's a lot of jokes like that just call back to shit in this movie. There's a rotating car gag, which I think is pretty good, where the car is rotating and he doesn't realize he doesn't have cover anymore. he turns around long. Yeah, what do they do? They get the film.
Yep, everything's good, and then it turns out that didn't matter in the end, and they get away with it. Like the car companies get away with it, and Russell Crowe goes back to drinking, and that's it. Nothing changes.
They set it up from the beginning where they're like, at the end of the day, the sun goes up twice and you get your money. But I think it does set up a sequel that I really want. Like, you see Gosling, he puts Russell Crowe's face on his ad, and they're the nice guys, they're the guys you hire. And I want to see like multiple nice guy sequels of them just handling weird, fucked up situations and bumbling their way through things. Like, I think it's such a missed opportunity that this thing didn't take off.
And I think I read somewhere on the Wikipedia that this was I think originally pitched as like a TV series instead of a movie. Like it was supposed to be episodic, I think.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to mention is, although nothing changes right at the end, in real life, right, they did pass the Clean Air Act. I mean, I assume that was actually passed before this movie even started. So, and smog did improve. So like eventually, and Detroit is not in charge anymore. So
yeah, this is an alternate universe, I think, where it went a different way, maybe.
Yeah, that was the other thing I noticed was it says it's 1977, and he's at the beginning of the movie he's waiting in line for gas, and I'm like, the oil crisis was in 73, I believe, and then 79. So I don't know. I wasn't alive then, so I don't know if it was just an ongoing issue the entire 70s, but.
I want to hire you as a private investigator, Ollie. I think you are noticing these things.
Time investigator.
Yeah, you are. If there were time crimes, I think you should be hired immediately.
Oh,
got my eyes
maybe
on
he's
that. I got my eyes on that.
maybe he's precog.
Maybe
We could do the precog test.
Could be. I also just know a lot about oil because of where I lived. That's about it.
Oh,
I did live on an oil refinery, so I should know my stuff.
Are you serious? Did you live on a refinery?
Well, it was the camp next to the refinery, but yes, I did live right next to a refinery. One of the biggest in the world, so.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I should know more about it than I do, but I do know some stuff.
We should have asked you about your life, Ollie. We have no time. We should ask you.
Whoops.
This is amazing.
It's not that
meters.
interesting. It's fine.
It's good.
Next time I'm on, I'll delve more deep.
We'll do
We
an
can't
Ollie
talk
episode
about
with
my
this.
mental health or our guest's past.
It was a reference to previous episode, Ollie. But we can't. It's a rule. Meters, right? Meters for the movie. This is where we get into our Gosometer. Gosling-ometer?
Gosometer. I like Gosometer.
How Ryan Gosling was this movie. So you might have heard in previous episodes, if you made it all the way through, that we will look at kind of our topic and see how much does it fit with the movie. Ryan, this is your movie. I'll let you kind of take the reins. Sorry.
Yeah, so we do 2 meters. We do our theme meter, and then we do the movie meter. We rate it how much we actually like the movie. So we'll do all once. We'll do all our Gosometers, and then we'll go to the movie meters. Cool. So the Gosometer is going to be, when you think of Ryan Gosling movies, how well does this fit the bill? For me, personally, my meter is going to be more of a kind of like, would you recommend this to someone who's a Ryan Gosling fan? And I think in that aspect, it kind of knocks it out of the park. They do kind of have to have a passing approval of Russell Crowe, because Ryan Gosling's not like the number one dude for a lot of it. He ends up being kind of at the end, but Russell Crowe's the plot man for a while. So I think on quantity, he's going to lose at least a point. I also have a new aspect of my meter, whether or not they reference the Burbank airport.
God damn it.
This has been like a really kind of weird thing that's happened.
It's a great airport. I take it whenever I can. It's way better than LAX.
And
Folks at home.
so he's a goofy guy. He's got weird body language, so he gets all those points. He's kind of hot. The mustache works. Man,
I think it works.
Doesn't get shirtless, I don't think. He's in the pool at one point, but I don't think he's actually
Fully
shirtless.
clothed. He's a never nude.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to go with an 8, which is high, but not perfect because he does have to share the screen. There we go.
An 8. Nice. 8 Gosling heads. 8 geese, if you will. Ollie, do you want to go second? Do you want to?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't watched, obviously, the other Gosling movies that you've been watching, and I honestly haven't watched that many Gosling movies in general.
Totally fair.
But I think for my meter, I would say it's how much did it seem like Ryan Gosling really wanted to do this role? Like, is this what when he thinks of himself as an actor, is this the type of role that he would want? And if I'm looking at it like that, I'd say that's like a 9. Like, it seemed like this was like what he wants to do as an actor. This seems like his type of role. And so yeah, I think it seemed like he really enjoyed himself and like really loved doing it. So that's what I'm gonna go with, I think.
Yeah, and what was the number you were gonna
9.
give?
I think a 9.
A 9?
Like, I think this is like his perfect, like almost his perfect movie to play in.
I think he did really good in this. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with it. I do feel like he really showed up for this movie. And we were kind of talking in the Gangster Squad episode where it's like he's coming off of a long streak of where he's the cool guy. He's the cool aloof guy. What's Ryan Gosling going to do next? And this is like my favorite phase of Ryan Gosling. It's where he becomes self-aware and he's like, I'm going to take the piss a little bit here and totally have fun. I think it checks off some boxes though. One, he gets the shit absolutely beat out of him the whole fucking movie. I think Ryan Gosling with blood makeup is a common trend here. You got unrequited love. That's one of the things on my Ryan Gosling meters. Like, the love does not work out for him. He has a crush on the secretary and she tries to kill him. And I think she just falls on her head. She's fine. I think he has really good physical comedy acting in this movie. Takes place in LA. Kachek. And I think another thing is he has a cool jacket in this movie. He puts it on. It's a leather jacket. It's kind of beige. It's tan. It's cool. I wanted that jacket. That's going to get another check for me. Like Ryan said, no shirtless scene. I can tell he's in shape. I think he looks great, but it's not going to get a point, unfortunately, there. He does sing in this movie. That's going to be another thing on my Gosling meter. So I think this is going to rate pretty PFH, pretty fucking high. I'm going to give it an 8 as well.
This is I feel like I haven't tabulated my the things that I want besides the lines. That the one I think unique thing I've come up with is whether or not he says a line in the movie that could have been from The Notebook or fits thematically in The Notebook. And I think he just because of the totality of the quick wit and humor that was written in here. There's that's probably in there. Some things that I do like that are strange, like why was Ryan Gosling in water so much this movie? We haven't seen him in the water at all in the last 4 movies, and he wakes up in a bathtub and then he's in a pool twice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
with the cast on too, like kind of weird.
Yeah, water kind of suits him. I loved how when he's on screen, all of his outfits have the seams cut out of his jackets so that they can fit the cast.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
I see. Yeah.
That was
I didn't
really
realize
great.
that, yeah.
I really enjoyed him in the entirety of this. I think, like Ali said, this is his like comedy action is Ryan Gosling's bread and butter. We saw him do so much more physical comedy in this than we've seen in any other movie. The bathroom scene that we didn't even fucking talk about. Where he's sitting on the toilet trying to cover himself up, kicking the door open so he can aim the gun at Russell Crowe because he thinks he's going to fight him. Like, he hammed it up. The volume was pretty good. I think this is different than Blade Runner, but this isn't the 10. This isn't the 10 movie. I'm having a hard time. I think it's between Lars and the Real Girl and Blade Runner. But I don't do 8.5, so I'm going to go 9.
All right, 9. That's still a great Gosling score. I think if you like the guy, you're going to fucking see this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ryan, you got the movie meter now.
I'll take the movie
What do you
meter, so I'll
think?
give you my opinion about my real opinion about the movie. I like this movie better on the second watch. I kind of knew what to expect. I didn't have to sit there and steep in the 70s LA as much. I could focus more on following the actual plot points, which I didn't remember anything of, or like catching the jokes. And some of these movies I have a really great time watching and Julie doesn't. And so it's kind of like a weird disparity, but she loves the Gos Man. So this was great. A couple times she'll laugh harder than I laugh. And I'm like, oh, maybe that joke was funnier than I thought it was. That kind of effect. I had a really great time watching this. So I'm going to give it a 9. I think that I already talked about this a little bit, but like, Shane Black swings, man. And so this one, like he got everything was lined up perfectly for him. And I think it's probably as best as he could do. I'm not stoked about a sequel. I like movies like this that are self-contained. And my favorite movie or book or story setup is A Missing Person. If I ever D&D is like DM a session for you guys, it'll for some reason it'll be a Missing Person case.
Our spin-off podcast.
That's what it is. And there's a couple lines that I thought were like really going back to the writing, like that were caught me off guard. So Jace was saying like you can always kind of check the pacing, like you know when the jokes are coming, because also almost nothing doesn't go by without a joke. Like you know what's gonna happen, and then this is gonna be very specific, but I like this sort of stuff for the sets. There's a Tiffany lamp behind, like over Ryan Gosling's shoulder in a scene where they're like a dialogue scene, and there's a kind of a shallow depth of field, so it's a little bit out of focus, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Like if you're gonna make something be out of focus in the background, make it a Tiffany lamp. Like it is just so funny to do that sort of thing.
I looked it up. Tiffany lamp's like one of those stained glass lamps, right? With
Yeah,
kind of like
the table
mosaic.
lamps. Yeah.
My mom had one of these. Yeah, I like these.
So I'm gonna give it a 9, and I'm very comfortable with that. I think that it's not a 10 because it's a little long, but that's basically it. This could be someone's favorite movie, and that's a requirement for me to be an 8 or above. And I really enjoyed myself.
Hell yeah, Ryan. Ollie, what do you think about this thing?
So I think initially when I was thinking about what I was gonna rank this as in terms of as a movie as a whole, I was kind of gonna lower my original impression of it from the first time I watched it. But now that we've talked about it, I kind of changed my opinion, because I was gonna dock it points because I thought that the plot on the second watch through was kind of shallow. Like, yeah, it's a missing person. It kept the things moving, and then like the whole plot with the the automobile collusion. It was interesting, but it was like very backseat. Didn't really matter. I didn't really care about anything that was going on really in terms of that plot point. But then I realized that really this movie, that it's a buddy comedy movie, and it's specifically there to show the chemistry between the two main actors and have a lot of funny jokes, right? Like that's kind of what it's here for. And in that sense, I think it's amazing. Like I still, it's one of those movies where if somebody mentions it, I'm like, oh my God, I love that movie. And the same thing, if I mention it to other people, everybody almost unanimously is like, yeah, I really like that movie. That was a great movie. And, even if it's just your memory of it, you know that you liked it. So I think, and also like, yeah, the sets, like the set pieces, like the party and the auto show, I remembered those. Like I remembered what they looked like, even if I watched this movie, 4 or 5 years ago, and I didn't remember the like the actual plot points. I like the clothing. I like the music. It was very like thematic, on point, and I like that they included a lot of like, it's like this is in the 70s in LA. There's smog. There's the like I said with the gas situation, right? It kind of like did a lot of period piece type things where it's like, you understand that they're in the 70s. It's not just like, oh, they're in the 70s, but it's just dark in LA, right?
Right.
So yeah, I think overall I really like this movie. Like it is one of my favorite movies of all time, I'd say. So I'm gonna have to give it like, I don't want to say 10, but I might give it a 10, honestly.
You could give it a 10.
I'm going to give it a 10 then, yeah. I really like this movie. I would watch it over and over again. So, yeah, I'll give it a 10.
Awesome, hell yeah. We love to see 10s, all right? We don't get enough 10s on this podcast. We watch a lot, I don't know if you saw our backlog, Ollie. We watch a lot of bad movies, man. It's exhausting sometimes. So just to see someone love a movie, it's like water to us, man. We're fucking camels in the desert, and we found an oasis of someone who just loves.
I love it. Yeah, I really love this movie. So
I mean, I agree. This movie, I think, really knocks it out of the park. Like, I think it set out to do something, and it fucking nails it. I think most of the jokes land for me. To make an action comedy, I think it's a tough thing to actually nail. I know it's like a very crowd-pleasing genre, but a lot of times action comedies really rub me the wrong way. Sometimes there's too much levity, or it feels really disingenuous. It's not really, like, the pacing needs to be really, really tight to make it really work. But here, I was really shocked. Because going into this movie, like, in 2016, Ryan Gosling's on the hot streak. He's the only reason why I would pick up a movie like this at this point. Like, when I see a movie like this, I'm probably not going to see it. But watching it, me and my dad watching on the first thing, we were laughing our asses off. I love fucking period pieces, okay? I like the Earth, Wind, and Fire cover band that was at the party sequence. This movie rules, all right? For me, I normally save 9 or 10 for movies that are going to change my life. Like, I usually, things that are going to have, like, a profound effect on me. This obviously is not that movie, and it's not meant to be that movie. So I'm going to give it an 8, which is a very high score for me. I really like this movie. I'll recommend it to anyone.
Can I ask a question with that?
Yeah.
In what way would you see a comedy movie changing your because that because I asked that because I totally understand that ability to rate it, but like Superbad came out at a time that was influential to you, but I don't think their goal was to change your life. So if you saw it and you thought it was the funniest.
So Jason's saying, why don't you grade comedies on a curve, essentially, right?
Yeah. I think a movie, I don't remember what I gave Lars and the Real Girl. I think I gave that one maybe a 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Movies like that where I think it veers into a little more dramatic territory, admittedly, I think tend to affect me a little more. But yeah, maybe like, I don't know, certain comedies, I don't think I would give a 10. And I think, look, the fucking Recording Academy, Oscars, they don't recognize comedies. Maybe this is like a sign of a bigger problem in how we interpret art. But for me, if a movie like makes me cry and makes me reimagine my entire life, I think that's a really effective piece of art. Sometimes comedies don't get there, but I think some do. Really, I do. But maybe not this one.
No, I just like it's an interesting concept to say that just because of the difference in genre, mode and way something is meant to make you feel an emotion, because it's primarily joy and laughter, it would have a potentially different impact than something that's like about loss.
I guess it doesn't. Joy and laughter is not meaningful.
It's
I guess
it's the thing where you can have 1,000 great days in a row, but you have one bad day, and your life sucks.
It fucks you up. Yeah.
And I don't mean I'm not trying to shit on your rating. I just think
it's a very interesting point. Yeah,
it's an interesting question to ask.
Maybe if a movie makes me shit my pants because I'm laughing so hard, then that'll be the first 10.
I think that I feel kind of apathetic when I think about the rating for this movie, and I guess I might be right there with you in that realm, Denali. Like, the 2 hours of it was kind of a slog, and once I figured out the comedy, it was a little bit tough. The jokes would still hit, and they would still make me laugh, but I think, left wanting towards the end of the film. There were some great shots in this movie, and some things that were just wild. I think it was effective at making me laugh, like seeing the whole Richard Nixon thing, and then him jumping in the pool, and then seeing Richard Nixon when he's blackout drunk, essentially. The shot of them walking up with the stairs, with the protesters laying on the stairs, kind of runs a line with the things you've all mentioned about the set piece and it feeling like it's in the 70s. I really enjoyed the movie, and it's blurry between 8, 9, or 10, and I think it could definitely depend on the day that I watch it. I also think it's a drastically different genre. We've hit 5 movies, and I feel like when we watch 5 movies of an actor, they have more of the same kind of smell to them. And each one of these, The Notebook is not like The Blade Runner, is not like Lars and the Real Girl, is not like Gangster Squad, is not like The Nice Guys.
Yeah.
So I will give this an 8 as well. On a rewatch, could be a 9. On a rewatch, could be a 10. Definitely recommending it to people, but I'm kind of unsure about where I'm landing with.
It's a good score.
Yeah.
I mean, for 4 people to rate a comedy highly, I think you did something pretty good here. And that's funny what you said, Jace, because like about kind of Ryan Gosling movies, like this might be tougher to go bland with. All right, like usually by this point we're fucking tired of Matthew McConaughey doing his whole like, oh yeah, the thing, and like he's doing different shit each movie, and I think so far I'm liking what I'm eating. All right. Even in Gangster Squad, I like what I eat. But Ollie, thank you so much for joining us. Like on this. You kind of influenced us a little bit to watch The Nice Guys. I'm glad we took this detour into The Nice Guys too. This was super fun. You're a natural. You got a great voice for radio and a face for television, Ollie. Yeah.
Wasted on Teams calls at work, unfortunately. But thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's an honor, honestly, to see you guys in action. Instead of
thank you.
We're gonna botch the edit.
Oh, great.
Say terrible things.
I've collected enough of your voice now.
So we can train an AI to say a bunch of.
I gotta call my banks and tell them that they should only transfer money if I'm physically there.
Physically, yeah, yeah. Well, you're welcome back anytime, Ollie.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
definitely.
I'd love to.
But for now, we have another movie in the chamber. I believe it's my pick. Is that right for this? And Ollie, we haven't figured this portion out very well. It's a bit of an indignity to make our guests sit through our selection process for the next movie.
I love it.
But listen, so we have 10 episodes of season.
So we've done 5. So we have 5 more, and that equals 10. That's how many we normally do, Denali.
I haven't taken a math class since I was 18, Ryan. This has been many years. Great. 5 more movies left. I think Crazy Stupid Love, I think, is going to be a fun movie to do. So that's what we're watching next week, folks. Join us. Maybe give it a rent on fucking Amazon or whatever. They need the money, guys. Amazon's hurting really bad. Watch Crazy Stupid Love. Let us know what you think about the nice guys. You think they're nice? You think they're cool? Yeah, follow us. Fucking subscribe to us.
Send us mail.
Send us fan mail
Send us mail. Send Ali fan mail.
at gmail.com.
I don't get any
Ollie-
letters. I need letters.
If you
I'm
want to
so
drop
sad.
your
Ollie's address,
email address,
is
yeah.
It's somewhere in Seattle. You'll have to figure it out. That's part of it's a mystery, you know.
Send
figure
it
it out.
somewhere, and hopefully he'll get it. And then if you have a huge platform right now, you're standing on you're basically on the White House address lawn. Is there anything you want to do you want to say anything to our audience? You've got a huge megaphone into the world right now. Do you have anything you want to promote? You want to tell anybody to do anything?
I can't think of anything else really to that I'd like to say other than listen to GBGBs.
Yeah,
There
you
we
heard
go.
it. Yeah, there we go,
keep
baby.
on
Great
keeping
podcast.
on.
Yeah, you heard this guy say it. All right, now you gotta do it. Okay. Thank you, Ali. The check will clear later.
Perfect.
So should we end the podcast with a Ryan Gosling-ism? So we kind of do this, Ali, you've probably heard in other episodes, but we kind of do a popcorn thing.
Yeah.
So one of us will start with a word, next person will say another word, and we'll try to form together using our 4 genius brains to create a quote that Ryan Gosling would probably say in a movie. So Ryan, this was your pick.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Cigarettes.
R.
Kind.
Of
Tasty.
Win.
You. Thank God I got the easy words.
apostrophe VE.
What
Ben.
the fuck, Chase? God damn it.
Ben.
When you have.
Okay.
We have
All right.
Ben.
drinking.
Peanut butter.
Yeah. Okay.
Thumbs up, Chase.
Period.
That sounds like something he might have said when he was drunk in the movie. Cigarettes are kind of tasty when you
Been drinking peanut butter.